Still stuck here in Refuge Cove, and funny, this is the second time I've recorded this little update, and the reason is that I forgot to have the microphone on, so now I've got the microphone on and I'm doing it again. Yes, unfortunately not very happy at the moment. Still stuck here in Refuge Cove, and unfortunately can't get out for a couple of reasons, apart from the entrance being incredibly rough. The winds are all coming from the wrong direction, and there's a strong wind warning current. Looks like it'll be again current tomorrow, and maybe even Sunday. So so it's been a bit disappointing, and I think it's going to change my plans. I think I might be heading to Lakes Entrance instead of heading down to Deal Island and Flinders Island. I think I just haven't got enough time, really, and just haven't got the weather to go to Tassie at this stage. So, so it looks like it could be a change of plans, because I could be theoretically stuck here for another couple of days, which is going to drive me crazy, because I've got nothing to do. I finished another book, and I'm running very low on books, or good books, so I'm going a bit crazy. But anyway, we had a boat arrive in the middle of the night last night, and when I woke up, I didn't hear anything, but when I actually just woke up to have a bit of a check, I looked outside and saw another anchor light, and the boat was anchored not far away from us, very close inshore. And so when I got up this morning, they were still asleep, and eventually two guys woke up, and we had a chat. They were very close in. And he actually said that he touched bottom at low tide in the middle of the night, which wasn't good. But I had a chat to them, and they had just come from Lakes Entrance, and we're heading around to Walkers Bay, about halfway back to Newhaven, because they came from where I just come from, where I came from, which is Newhaven. And so they're going back about halfway back to Walkers Bay near Cape Liptrap, and overnight there, and then head back to Newhaven tomorrow. But they've got, I think, the weather to do it, even though it is a strong wind warning. It's from the right direction for them, but unfortunately it's not for us. And I'll check the forecast again tonight, but I'm not looking that hopeful. So I think it may be, if we're still stuck here, it definitely will be Lakes Entrance. But a little worried I haven't been able to update Gina where I am and what's going on, so hopefully she's not worrying too much. But I can't get any phone signal at all, and but one of the guys told me that you can get signal once you get out of here, a few miles out of here. So once I do leave, I'll be able to update her and tell her where I am. Well, g'day. As you can probably see, I'm not looking that great this morning. It's now day 5 in Refuge Cove, and I must admit I'm pretty worn out. I had one of the most tiring nights ever last night. Strong winds came in, probably at about 30 knots, blew right down Refuge Cove from the north, surprisingly, and which put us on a lee shore right off the beach, which was very worrying. But the little Rockner anchor I've got hung on. It's only a 10 kilogram Rockner, but geez, what a terrific little anchor. It's buried itself in, and I'm only in about 5 metres of water, and I've got about 30 metres of chain out, and it's really hanging on. Well, so far so good. Unfortunately, I didn't get any sleep at all. I was probably awake nearly all night. I just napped occasionally, or had a few 40 winks occasionally. But then this morning the wind has now shifted, and it's shifted more east, and it's still coming from our nose, and we're still on a lee shore, but there's absolutely nothing I can do about it. If I tried to get the anchor up and motor forward, we could end up in a lot of strife. So because I've only got a manual anchor winch, and I can't drive the boat and get the anchor in at the same time. So we're just sitting. And I was a little worried because Gina hasn't heard from me since Monday, and so I radioed Marine Radio Victoria and asked them if they could pass a message on, which they supposedly have. They're going to radio me back when they've passed the message, but she will get a bit of a fright, I think, getting a message from them. But I'd rather her know that I'm safe instead of continuing to worry about where we are. And I didn't tell them to tell her that I'm on a lee shore, and but that should be fine. She should hang on, and little Cachalot should hang on, and hopefully the winds will ease off. I'm waiting for a forecast as well at about 8:45, and we can find out what the next couple of days hold. But I'm not that hopeful, actually, because the entrance would be impossible to get out in conditions like this. There's about 3 metre waves in the entrance, and there'd have to be 30 knots blowing in there, and there's no way in the world I'm going out into that. I've just got to take my chances here. So it's been sort of one thing after another on this trip, but we'll see how we go. Anyway, I'll leave it at that, and I'll give you an update again tomorrow, hopefully with better news. Here I am, day 6, still here in Refuge Cove, and you might be able to tell that on top of everything else, I now have a bad head cold, and so yesterday I felt pretty awful, and today not too great. So it's actually good that I wasn't able to leave today. It was still blowing strong in through the opening, and the strong easterlies, and the forecast looks better for tomorrow, so I thought I'd wait till tomorrow to leave. And I'm not sure completely about the weather. We'll get an update, but it looks like it might be east-northeast as I go out, and then it's supposed to be variable and then swing southwest, which is fine, because I've definitely made the decision to head for Lakes Entrance, and I hopefully will be able to leave the boat somewhere, but at least I'll get to Lakes Entrance and work it out from there what we're going to do. But yes, I just hope this cold's a bit better tomorrow, and I feel a little bit better before we undertake the sail across, which is an overnight sail, so it's going to be out in the cold again overnight. So I'm going to have to rug up and make sure I don't make the cold worse. I did move the boat. I don't know if I mentioned that. Maybe I did the update before I moved the boat, but I moved out a bit further. I went to explore the other side, the northern side of the Refuge Cove, to see if it was more protected from the strong easterly, because that strong wind warning was still current, but it wasn't any better really. So I came back over into the southern side of Rescue Cove and anchored a bit further out just to give me peace of mind. And we're still on a lee shore, but you can't avoid that. But we're a lot further out, so and the anchor's dug itself right in again, and we haven't moved all night. We haven't moved at all. So, and now the winds have eased, so we're just going to sit here until tomorrow. But it did make me sleep a lot better last night, knowing we weren't quite as close inshore. And also, it's a full moon at the moment, and so the tide's very low, and I was a bit worried that we didn't have too much water underneath us at dead low tide. So it was good to move out. Anyway, no problems there at all. So I've just been filling in my time reading and listening to the cricket, or the non-event cricket that's on, and that's about it. Nothing much really to report at all. So we'll leave it there. Well, finally, we're out of Refuge Cove after 6 days of waiting for wind, or the right wind. Had too much wind, had strong wind warnings. But now we're underway and we've got no wind. Very, very light easterly wind, and of course the direction I want to go is east. I apologise for the camera